So just a tip before we get started, whenever you're going to build a query, it is a good idea to maybe just jot down the information about the report that you want to create, maybe what files you think you might need to use, the selection criteria that you want for sure, and the fields that you want to be printed on the finished report. That way, if you have the information in front of you, even before you start, then you're more apt to not forget to include certain fields on your printed report or forget to include certain selection criteria that you want. So if you just jot down an outline of what you want before you get started, it makes it a lot easier. So what we're going to do today is just start with a basic report. So we're going to go into our MN Query menu, and we're going to choose to build a custom report or inquiry. And we will choose to create. Now, again, if at this point we wanted to name it, we could, or you can wait until you're all done creating the report, and when you go to save it, then you can name it at that point. So we won't name it right now. And the first thing that we would do then is choose files. Where's our data coming from? The report that we want to build first is we want to find any loans that have a disbursement limit of $10,000 or greater. However, we want the member's name included on the report. So right there we know we have to have more than one file. So we have to have our master file because we know that our member's name is included in the master file. So we'll choose that first, and then we'll press enter. And then down at the bottom we get the message that says press enter to continue, but we're not finished yet. We want to go over here to the left and add a file. And the file that we're going to add is our member 5 file, which is our closed-end loans, and that's what we want. There's actually 2 loan files, member 5 for closed loan and member 6 for line of credit. So we'll go ahead and choose our member 5. And then we'll press enter, and again we get the message at the bottom, press enter to confirm. And this is all the files we want right now. If we wanted more, we would click add file again, but we just want these 2. The system gives each file a file ID, and you could change that if you want to, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But we're going to leave it as is right now, and we're going to press enter because these are the only 2 files that we want. So in Report Builder, whenever you're adding more than one file together, you actually you need to specify how you want to join the files. Just one sec here. We have a question. Someone is following along with the steps and it says that they don't have a master file. Do you have that? You're sure you have it typed correctly? Because you do have a master file. You have to. Did you try it again, Kathy?
Yeah, we're trying it right now.
It says file master not found in file ZUE.
Okay, I'm sorry. On the page where you're picking your file, remember the bottom line, it should say query and then have your 2-digit credit union ID. And it may have something different there in yours.
So do we put master ZUE?
No, just master. But down at the bottom field in that particular screen, does it say query and then your 2-digit query ZU?
Where are you asking?
We're in ING.
Oh, okay, and that actually could be a bit different because this is the standard gold that we're going through here. And so when you're in ING and you go in here to create your file, does this say query and your 2-digit credit union ID?
Yeah, it says query ZU.
Yes, it does.
Okay. And then you click on choose files, where's data coming from? Does the location say file ZU?
File ZUE.
It says file ZUE.
Okay, and that's the month end. So take out the E. And then choose your master.
But now it's saying that
Are you able to get into the gold system, the old gold system?
yes.
Do you want to go ahead and try it in there?
Well, if we're using new gold, then I don't really want to learn how to create something in old gold and then not know where to do it.
Gotcha. And I don't believe the steps are that much different, but in this case with query, since I can't hop into your credit union right now to take a look, I can't tell what the issue might be.
Okay, we did get it to where now it says specify a file selection, and it says master, location, file, ZU, member, it's the asterisk first, and then format master R.
Okay. And if you press enter, then does it take you to the screen we're on right now to join the files?
So you put a 1
Yeah.
Are you on this same screen then?
Yeah,
No, it
we
takes
can't find. I guess we missed the step you got to get to that screen.
Okay, to get to this screen then, we just chose both of our files and pressed enter.
This screen.
Pardon?
How did you get to this screen?
The one I'm on right now,
Yes.
I did choose files, where is data coming from, and I chose the master.
Okay.
And then I clicked add file over on the left-hand side, and I chose member 5.
Okay, I think this is where, because we couldn't get the master, we had trouble getting to here. So number 5, I can't read what that says on the location. Can you? What's the format? Number 5R? Okay, we're there now.
Okay? All righty. So then basically,
Yeah, we're fine.
okay. So basically what we need to do then is specify how these files are going to be joined together, or we're telling the system what fields that the files may have in common with each other, okay? So our first option is matched records, and you would choose that option, and the system will use only records that match between all of the files that you chose to use. Okay, so say that your report, you typed in that you wanted to include the master file, the member 2, which is share draft, and the member 5, closed-end loan files. So if you choose option 1, this option is only going to include records where a member has both a share draft and a closed-end loan. If you choose option 2, matched records with primary file, with this option, the system is going to include all records from the primary, meaning the very first file name that you typed in. So if you had typed in member 5 first, the system then here would consider member 5 your primary file. So it'll include all records from the primary, or the first file, regardless of whether or not there's a matching record in the other file. So if your report included member 1, and member 2, share and share draft files, then this option would include all records for members who have a savings account, whether or not they have a checking account. Okay, so it wouldn't matter. If you choose option number 3, unmatched records with primary file, if you choose that option, the system is only going to include records from the primary file, or the first one that you typed in, that do not have a matching record in the other file. So if your report included the member 1, the share file, and the member 2, share draft file, that option then would include records for members who only have a savings but do not have a checking. And we're going to go through that option in a bit. But for this report that we're creating right now, we're going to say matched records. We want to have the records included if they have a match between both of those files that we chose. So then after you choose how you're going to join the files, then you have to specify what fields out of those files that you're going to use to join them together, or what should match, or what common fields would those two files share. So in this case, we're going to say that the account base is a common field between both files, and that's going to probably hold true for almost every time that you're going to join files. So we want to find, and before, when we were joining our files, we kind of talked about how it gave them an ID and that we could change it. We didn't change it this time. We left it labeled T01. So we're going to say our T01 account base is going to equal our T02 account base. And we could type it in if we wanted to, or we could scroll all the way down till we get to that second file, the T02, and we'll choose T02 account base. So we're just saying the files are going to be joined together by the account base in one matching the account base in the other. Okay? So then we press enter, and we've told the system how we want to join those two files. So then let's go ahead for this time and choose our fields. We're going to say that for this report, we want to see from the master file our member's name, we want to see their account base after that, and then from the second file, or from the loan file, we want to see the current balance and the disbursement limit. So we'll scroll down until we get to that T02 file, and we're going to choose our disbursement limit. I can't remember what numbers I put up there earlier, so I'll just choose one. And I think I may have passed current balance, so I'll choose that also. Okay? And then press enter, and of course it's going to list at the top of the list all the fields that we chose to display. So press enter to confirm. We'll go ahead and press enter. At this point, you could display your report if you wanted to. In your credit union, most of your closed-end loans, once they're paid off, they're no longer going to be an open loan. In our training database, of course, we have a bunch of accounts that have zero balances that are still open that shouldn't be. So then we also said that we wanted to just look for loans that had a disbursement limit of greater than $10,000. So now we'll choose our records. And any of the fields that we had chosen to print on our report, they're going to be at the top here. So we're going to say that our disbursement limit is greater than or equal to $10,000. So then if we display our report, then that's who we're going to get, only those that are greater than or equal to $10,000. So we joined those two files together. We didn't really pull any information from the master file. We just used the information to print on the report. We were just interested in the loan file as far as our selection criteria goes, but the loan file doesn't include a name, so we had to join those two. So then for this particular report, if you wanted to choose any other records or have more selection criteria, or tell it how to be sorted, or what your output is going to be at this point, then you'd be able to do that. Okay. So let's start another report here. We're going to get out of this one. So we're going to view all loans from our Member 5 file that will mature in the next 5 years or from now until 2018. So we're going to, again, create, choose where our file's coming from, And we're going to choose those same files, the master, and then we will click Add File, and we'll choose our member 5. Okay? But this time we don't want them to be named the T01 and T02 because maybe that confuses us. So we're going to rename these. We'll name it Member and Loans. And so we'll go ahead and choose that then. And in this instance, again, we want the records to be matched if there's a record in both of the files. So we'll choose Matched Records, and we'll match our account base. And here it says MBR instead of the T01. And we will match it to our LNS account base. And we chose LNS because that's what we had named it on that previous screen right here. Okay? So that's how you could rename those files if you wanted to keep track of which files you were using, and the T01, T02, T03 got to be confusing, or you forget which ones they are. Okay, so for our selection criteria then, we just want our maturity year to fall within a range. So what records do we want? And we're going to go down to our loans, and we're going to find our maturity fields. And what the criteria that we want is going to be the maturity year. Okay. And let's just say that this is within a range between, we want it between now and 2018. So anything the rest of this year up through 2018. We want to see those loans on this report. Okay. So if we preview then, we would get everybody whose loans are going to mature in that time frame. And if you haven't chosen any fields that you want to print on your report yet, all of the loan fields are going to be displayed on this report. So you may have to scroll back and forth to see what you want, or you could go ahead and go in and choose your fields. So we want our account base again, and our member's name. And then we'll scroll down to our loan section. And let's say we want our current account balance and our maturity information. Okay, and that's the information we want on our report. So then we can see that we can get everybody between 2013 and 18, but we want to go ahead and sort that. So first we're going to go ahead and sort by our maturity year. That'll be our first option. And we'll do ascending order. And then let's go ahead and throw the month in there too. We don't care about the day. And if we preview our report then, because of the way we sorted it, we're going to see the maturity year 2013 first. And of course it'll be broken down by month and so on. After 2013, it will go to 2014, again broken down by month. Okay? So that's another way to join files and then rename the files if you want to make it easier to keep them separate. So we'll get out of this report. We don't need to be saving all of these. So this time we'll take a look at, we just want to find all of our members who have a share account, but who do not have a checking account. So we'll choose our files, and we'll go ahead and choose master here because everybody's got a master account. And the file that we want to add to that then is our member 2 account. Okay. And we'll just go ahead and leave them named what they are. And in this case, we are going to use unmatched records with primary file. So we want everybody in our primary file, which is our master file, and we only want to see those people that do not have a matching record in the other file. But we still have to explain to the system how these two files should be tied together. So we're going to again do account base, and like I said, the account base is going to be what you're using most of the time. Okay, so any of the records that show up in this report now are going to be people who have a master account, primary share account, but they do not have a checking account. Okay. It could be that it would include all of your accounts, so you could choose your records and say that your status is equal to active. So you wouldn't get any closed accounts on there. And then, of course, if you wanted to, you'd be able to define your fields, what fields you want to be displayed on the report. Or maybe you want to define your output option because maybe these people who don't have checking accounts, you'd like to market to those folks. So you may want to download this report to Excel or something like that to send them some marketing materials. So before we actually move on to creating custom fields, we will go ahead and take a look real quick at how you would go about joining 3 files or more than 2. So again, we'll choose to create. And we'll choose which files we want. In this case, we want 3 files. We want our master. We're going to add file, and let's say we want our member 2 file again, people with checking accounts. And we want to add one more file. We want to look at our member 5 because we want to include their loan accounts too. So basically when you're adding files, you just keep clicking add file until you've got all the files that you would like to be included in your report. And then the system's going to ask us what these files have in common or how we want to join them. So if you're matching, and we're going to choose matched, they have a record in all 3 files. If you're doing it this way, you're going to say, again, the account base in the first file, T01, is equal to the account base in the second file. And then you're going to say also that the T01 account base is equal to the third file. So this way then you've got all 3 files joined together by the account base or by whatever field that you want to say that they have in common. So let's say that we want to look for anybody who has a share account balance or a checking account balance greater than 0 or greater than, we'll say greater than 500. So we'll go down to our second file here. Our current account balance is greater than $500. And they also have a loan balance that's greater than $5,000. So we need then to go down to our third file to select our criteria. Okay, so for our selection criteria, then we went ahead and chose information from both of the files that we had added to the master file. So if we preview our report, then we're going to get all the people who have a checking account and a loan greater than $500 and $5,000 respectively. Let's go ahead and choose some fields here, and we'll say that we want their name, their account number, and let's go ahead and just include their balances from both of those other two files also. And then if we preview our report, that's who we got. Now, in some cases like this, if the member has more than one loan or more than one checking account or share account or whatever type of an account that you had chosen to display, say they have one checking and 3 loans, you're probably going to end up with some duplicates on your report, and the best way to get rid of duplicates is to download into Excel or some other program and remove your duplicate, because you may end up with duplicates if you're combining 2 or more files. Okay. So we're going to move on next to view how to create some custom fields. Does anybody have any questions before we do that? I took you off mute, so you could ask a question, or you could just go ahead and type it in.
Can you repeat? This is Olivia.
Hi, Olivia.
Hi there. Can you repeat about that duplicating the loans? What were you saying?
The fact that there might be some duplicate files, duplicate records in here.
So with
if
Joe Smith.
Okay, so we chose to combine, and I don't have his loan suffixes on here and share suffixes on here, but it looks like this is his loan current balance right here. So he's got 3 separate loans. However, he's only got 1 checking account. So since he's got 3 line items on this report, it's going to show his share balance 3 times and his 1 balance for each of his separate loans.
Okay.
Okay, so it wouldn't display on your report just 1 line for his checking and leave the other 2 blank. It's going to go ahead and put that dollar figure in there. So if you are calculating totals or something at the bottom, you could have an incorrect total if there are multiple records for that member. Okay?
I guess that was throwing me off because I couldn't see the column heading, which one was checking or loan. Okay,
yeah.
Got it.
So if they have more than one of one of the records, it could throw you off. Okay. All righty. We'll go ahead and now take a look at creating some custom fields. So this next report that we want to run, we want to find out how many auto loans we have in a particular zip code. You might not think that you would have to create a custom field for this, but we'll see that we need to. So we're going to go ahead and create, and we're going to choose our master file because we want our member's name on here. And we're looking for auto loans, so we're going to add our member 5 file. I seem to gravitate towards the member 5, but there's so much information in there, and that's one of the ones that people want to query a lot. So we'll just choose that one. And we'll just say that we want matched records again, and we're going to match our account base to our account base. Okay, so if we go ahead and preview, we can see that our member zip code looks like it's split between 2 pages. I'm just going to go ahead and change the width of the report that we're viewing so we can see it a little easier. I changed it to a column to a width of 80. So our zip code field here, it's numeric because we've got commas in there, and it's a zip +4 field, okay? And that's not going to work for what we want because we're looking for a particular zip code, and we don't know everybody's last 4 digits. So we want to end up changing that to a 5-digit field. But the first thing that we have to do is change it to an alpha field or a text field, and that's because let's say that we were thinking we could go in and say we want everybody whose zip code contains the pattern of 48448. Okay? The system is going to tell you that this particular field, the zip code field, isn't allowed to be used with the like or the not like test. And basically that tells us then that we need to change this from a numeric to a text field or to an alpha field. Okay? Because that's how we could use the contains the pattern of. So we're going to pop into Create Custom Fields. Basically what we're going to be doing is creating a brand new field. So the first thing that we have to do is name that field. And we're going to be changing this numeric zip field into a text field. So just for the ease of training, we will call it zip text. Okay. And then what we're going to be doing is saying that we want to change this particular field from digits. We want to change it from digits into text, so we say digits, and then we tell it what field is it that we want to be changing. And we want to change the T01 from our master file, and that field was called ZIPCD. That's the field that we want to be changing to digits. And then what should the column heading say? What do you want the column heading to say? We're gonna call this, just so that we recognize it, zip to text. You'd probably name it just zip or something like that. But okay, so we created a new custom field. Now if we display it, we can see that we've got a new column here. It's called zip to text because that's what we called it, just so we could recognize it. There's no commas in there. So now that we know it's an alpha or a text field. So now we would be able to go ahead and say that we want our new column that we created, our new field that we created, we want that to contain the pattern of that zip code that we want. And then we should just get that zip code in our report. Okay? But let's also say that we don't want this to be a 5 we don't want this to be a 9-character zip code field. We want it to be a 5-character zip code field so that we can go into our report and say, we want any zip code that equals this, not contains the pattern of. So what we're going to do is go back into our Create a Custom Field. And we're going to add a second section here. We've already said that we want to change it to a text field. So we're going to go ahead and create another brand new field off of this field. And what we're basically going to be telling the system, we're going to add this substring that we say from that zip text field, we want to just extract the first 5 characters. So we're going to add our substring, and we're going to say from this zip text field, because that's the one we created up there. So from that field, we want to start at character number 1, and we want to extract 5 characters from there. Okay, and we'll just call it zip. So we've created another new field, which we would be able to see if we preview. It's right here. We have our new field now, and it just took out the first 5 characters. So now we can say, what records do we want? We want our zip field right here to equal 48448. Okay? So now, again, those are the only ones we're going to get, but we've got our selection criteria just searched for this field to put the records on the report. Okay, so that's one way you can create a custom field. Basically, we're just either converting it from one type of a field to another type of a field, or we're extracting information from a particular field, saying that's all we want to see out of that field. On that particular page, the Create Custom Fields page, the Learn About This feature is going to explain how to do all of this stuff. So that could be something that you'd want to go ahead and take a look at and maybe even print out if you wanted to for creating a custom field. Okay, so then if we go in and choose our fields, we'll say we want the account base and we want the name. And we want their zip code. And we're also going to be just searching for auto loans, and we knew that ahead of time, so we want to also on our report include their security code because we want to see which type of a loan it is. So we'll find our security code. Okay, so we're going to have our account base, our name, our zip code, and our security code. So if we preview our report, then, of course, that's all we've got. But we decided that we wanted to see only people with auto loans in this zip code. So we'll go back into our records, and we're going to say that our security code, our zip is equal to 48448, and our security code matches a list that we're going to enter. And we know that our security codes for our auto loans are 5 and 6. So that's what we want. Anybody's in that zip code with that particular type of a loan, and then we display our report, and that's what we're going to get. This person had multiple records. He had multiple loans, but only one of them matched that security code, so he's only on the report one time. Okay. We have one more custom field that we want to go over today, and I'm actually going to have Kinsey step in here to go over creating that custom field for you. So I'm going to put you on hold just one sec.
Good morning, everyone. One of the fields that I would like to cover is going to be what we call our age field. In the system, there are different ways that the date can be set up. Now, part of the SEPing project is to unify all of those, but currently, you may find it where it's month, month, day, day, year, year, or year, year, month, month, day, day. In order to change those fields, there is a query that is in most of our credit union's query libraries. If you go out and are unable to find it, please contact Client Services and we'd be happy to move it for you. In here, it's been a while since I've run this query or moved it, so it's got an old month-end file in it. We're going to go ahead and change that to 0813. Okay. And we're going to talk a little bit about this custom field. Essentially what you need to do, if you have two competing date fields, so one is month, month, day, day, year, year, and one is year, year, month, month, day, day, and you're trying to find the difference between the two fields or the two dates, you need to make them look the same. In this case, we've got our birthday month, birthday year, and birthday day that we have to separate out. So this is called substringing, and it's SUBSTR, and then we break it out in the digits of birth date, which this is the field that we're taking it from. This is the month, month, day, day, year, year. This is the position that we're starting in, so we're starting in position 1 and we're taking 2 spaces. So this again will break out the birth month. The birth month starts in field 1 and is 2 spaces long. Then we go down to our birthday, where we will next take out or substring our digits from birth date. We'll start in field 3 and we'll take 2 positions. Go ahead and page down, and again the same thing with the birth month. Oops, not birth month. There we go, birth year. It is important when you take them apart that you check your query, and I do suggest possibly having 2 gold sessions open when you do that so you can verify that the birthday month, day, and year do match what's on the member record, because occasionally you will grab the wrong space. Then in here we have today, which is current date, and this is where we start to be able to do some math. So if you're trying to find all of your members over the age of 18, we can then take today's date minus their date of birth. Now today's date is set up like we have here with birth month, birthday, birth year. However, we've taken the fields that we created above, B month, B day, and B year, and we do what we call concatenation. So this single or straight line right here, which is actually found just above your enter key on your keyboard if you're looking for it, is called a concatenation. So we take the birth month or whatever field we have there, we essentially glue it back together, but we do have a symbol in between, the / symbol there. Then we glue in the birthday with the concatenation marks, the / again, and then the birth year. Then we have created the date of birth field, and we can take their age by taking the date that we created above and their date of birth, and we can do the math of subtracting them. What that then does, if I go out and preview my report, is it gives me the number of years that that member is. So then I can find all of my members then over the age of 18 or between the ages of 1 and 17, maybe if I'm looking for all of my members in a youth club for marketing purposes. Now, I do get calls quite a bit when it comes to queries about how to find those members. And again, this should be in everyone's query library. If it was accidentally deleted or moved, just contact our client service department. We'd be happy to move this age query over to your library. But in here then, not fields, excuse me, choose records. I can, again, find those members between the ages of 70 and 100 or 18 and 1,000. And we're going to go ahead and take this field out. And then this would show all of my members over the age of 18, possibly for a marketing for loans or credit cards. Then with that file, you can add additional files like your Member 5 record or your Member 6 record for people with loans. Maybe if you're doing a refinance on car loans, you can link this to that and say, I want to find all of my members over the age of 18 that do not have a car loan. And then you could send marketing out to them because it does have their first, last name, their address in here as well. Okay. Do I have any questions from anybody? I'll wait just a second. Okay. If, again, as Penny was showing you earlier, you do want to attach certain files together, you can do master file. And then this is this one particularly here is an end of month file. But if, again, if I wanted to attach a Member 5 file, I can do that as well. It's just letting me know that I've updated my file and then how I'd like to match my records. So we'll do unmatched records, and this one now starts with a B. And I can look at my report, and I can see all of my members over the age of 18 that don't have a loan. Okay. I do suggest that everybody practices queries. If you're coming to next month's query class, we do have one more class in this series for downloading those queries and outputting them to database files. But next month we'll be stringing queries together, so creating different files to put into additional queries. And the more you practice, the better you'll get at it, the more files you'll be able to put together to build bigger, more complex reports for your credit union and your credit union needs. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hand this back over to Penny, but again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our team. All of us would be happy to help you.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just unmute everybody, and if you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask. If you would like, you could go ahead and send questions. You can email them to me too. If you're playing with this and you come across something that, oops, I don't quite understand this, just go ahead and send me an email or give us a call here at the CSR department. Okay. I appreciate everybody's time today, and I hope you have some fun playing with this. And we will be, Kinsey will be doing the class next week as I'll be on the road. So it'll be same time next Wednesday for the downloading class. All righty?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.